My brothers and sisters, have you ever stood at the edge of something that terrified you, knowing that one step forward could change your life forever, but the fear inside you whispered, what if you fall? What if you fail? What if it goes wrong? What if you're not strong enough, not worthy enough, not capable enough? We all know that feeling. That moment when your chest tightens, your heart races, and your mind starts painting the worst possible scenarios. It's the kind of fear that makes you freeze even when every part of your soul is begging you to move forward. But let me tell you something. There comes a time in your life when Allah places you in front of a door that fear will never allow you to open, but trust will. And that's the moment, that single moment, where everything changes. Because fear screams about the size of the mountain, but trust reminds you of the one who can move it. Fear shows you the storm, but trust shows you the one who controls the winds. Fear shows you your weakness, but trust shows you Allah's power. Some of you listening right now are carrying fears nobody else sees. Fear of losing someone, fear of trying again, fear of heartbreak, fear of poverty, fear of failure, fear of the future. But what if, just for once, you trusted Allah more than that fear? What if you replaced, what if I fall, with, what if Allah carries me? What if you replaced, what if it goes wrong, with, what if Allah has already written something beautiful for me? What if you replaced, I can't do this, with, Allah will make a way for me? Let me tell you, when you trust Allah more than your fear, you stop living like a prisoner. You stop walking with your head down. You stop surviving and you start living. And today, I want to take you on a journey into what actually happens when you trust Allah more than your fear, not theory, not poetry, reality. Because Allah has never left anyone who trusted Him empty-handed. When you begin to trust Allah more than your fear, something profound happens inside you. Something so subtle at first that you barely notice it, yet so powerful that it begins to shape the way you walk, talk, think, and even breathe. You start realizing that your strength was never meant to come from your own limited abilities. It was always meant to come from the one who created you, the one who knows the silent battles inside your chest that no one else sees, the one who understands the heaviness you carry, even when you smile and say, I'm okay. Trusting Allah transforms your weakness into a level of strength you never imagined you could have. There are moments in life when you feel like you're collapsing inside, when fear whispers that you're not enough, that the challenge is too big, that the future is too uncertain. You feel small, you feel overwhelmed. You feel like the mountain in front of you is impossible to climb. But that's exactly where trust begins. Trust starts in the darkness. Trust begins when you admit, Allah, I cannot do this alone. It's in that surrender that strength enters. When you lift your hands in dua with a trembling heart, Allah lifts your spirit with a strength you didn't even know you possessed. Trusting Allah doesn't mean you suddenly stop feeling scared. It means you stop allowing fear to decide your destiny. You feel the fear, but you walk anyway. You feel the worry, but you try anyway. You feel the uncertainty, but you take one more step. Because deep down, you begin to believe that if Allah brought you to this moment, then He will guide you through it. If He placed the mountain in front of you, then He will also create the path. If He placed the test in your life, then there must be something within you, something you may not even see, worthy of His attention, His love, His trust. And that's the beauty of it. Allah does not test the weak to break them. He tests the strong to build them. But sometimes the strength is hidden so deep inside you that it only comes out when everything else falls apart. Trust in Allah becomes the key that unlocks that buried strength. You begin to see this transformation in small moments. The morning you wake up after crying all night, yet still push yourself to stand for Fajr. The day you choose patience when anger wants to explode. The moment you force a smile even though your heart is heavy. These moments are not signs of weakness. They are signs of divine strength flowing through you. They are signs that Allah is holding you, guiding you, shaping you through every difficulty. Slowly, you begin to realize that your heart is no longer driven by panic, but by purpose. You stop saying, I can't, and start saying, with Allah, anything is possible. You stop breaking over what scares you and begin rising above it. Because when you trust Allah, your weakness becomes a doorway through which His strength enters. And when His strength enters, no fear can ever defeat you again. When you truly trust Allah, something remarkable happens inside your heart. The noise begins to quiet, the storms begin to settle, and the anxiety that once controlled your mind starts losing its power over you. Fear and anxiety thrive on uncertainty. They whisper endless questions. What if something goes wrong? What if I lose everything? What if I'm not strong enough? What if the future isn't what I hoped for? These thoughts repeat over and over until your heart feels heavy and your mind feels trapped. But trust in Allah cuts through that noise like a calm breeze easing through a chaotic night. Trust teaches you that you don't need to know every answer right now. You don't need to see the whole story. You don't need to control every outcome. Because there is a creator who already knows the path, already sees the future, already understands what you cannot. Fear demands control, trust surrenders it to the one who is perfect in wisdom. And in that surrender, the heart finds a peace it has been craving for years. There is a unique tranquility that comes only when you hand your worries over to Allah. You start realizing that worrying never fixed anything, but dua always brings you closer to healing. You begin to understand that your sleepless nights were not because life was impossible, but because you kept trying to carry everything alone. And the moment you let Allah carry it with you, everything begins to feel lighter. Think of every moment when fear overwhelmed you, when your heart raced, when your breaths felt shallow, when your mind imagined the worst. Now think of the moments when you said, Allah, I leave it in your hands. Didn't something inside you soften? Didn't your heart settle even if the situation hadn't changed yet? That's the power of trust. It gives peace before the solution even arrives. Fear shows you danger. Trust shows you protection. Fear shows you uncertainty. Trust shows you the one who controls destiny. Fear shows you the storm. Trust shows you who controls the rain. When you trust Allah, you stop drowning in what ifs and start resting in Allah knows best. You stop replaying painful scenarios and start reminding yourself that Allah's plan is always better than your fear's imagination. You stop feeling alone in your struggle and start feeling held by the one who never abandons his slaves. The world becomes easier to face because your heart is no longer fighting on its own. Even when things don't go your way, you feel a calm acceptance because you know that Allah never closes one door without opening another. Even when you're unsure of the future, you trust the one who writes it. Even when you're surrounded by uncertainty, your heart feels anchored by faith. This tranquility isn't something you force. It's something Allah places inside you when you choose Him over your fear. And once you taste that peace, you begin to understand why trusting Allah is not just an act of faith, it is an act of liberation. It frees you from the prison of anxiety and brings your heart to a place where nothing feels impossible because Allah is with you. When you trust Allah more than your fear, you begin to witness something extraordinary, doors opening in your life that you never even knew were there. You start to realize that the world is not limited to what you can see. Your eyes may see obstacles, but Allah's plan contains pathways that are completely hidden from you until you trust Him enough to take that first step. And the moment you do, He reveals possibilities that your fear would have never allowed you to imagine. Every one of us has moments where we look at our lives and think, this is impossible. We convince ourselves that there is no way out of the difficulty we're in, no solution to the problems we're facing, no future beyond the pain we feel. Fear traps us in a mindset of limits. It makes the world feel small, the options feel few, and the challenges feel overwhelming. But trust expands your world. Trust removes the blindfold that fear put over your eyes. Trust allows you to see doors that only faith can unlock. Think about the times in your life when something good happened unexpectedly. An opportunity, a person, a solution, a blessing you didn't even pray for because it seemed too far beyond your reach. That wasn't coincidence. That was Allah showing you that He is never limited by the circumstances you are trapped in. He can send help from places you couldn't imagine, at times you didn't expect, through people you never thought would be part of your journey. When you trust Him, you become open to these hidden pathways. You start to see that rejection might actually be protection. A delay might actually be preparation. A disappointment might actually be direction. Allah doesn't just close doors. He redirects you to the ones that are best for you. And often, those new doors only appear when you stop clinging to fear and start holding on to faith. Every prophet experienced moments where the situation looked hopeless, not difficult, hopeless. But that is exactly where Allah's miracles descend. When Musa stood at the edge of the sea with an army behind him, the world saw a dead end. But Allah saw a path that didn't exist yet. And when Musa trusted Him and struck the sea, the impossible became reality. A door opened where there had been none. This isn't just a story from the past. It's a reminder for your life today. Your sea can split too, not with a staff, but with trust. When you choose faith over fear, Allah creates a way out of your struggles, a path through your confusion, a solution to your pain that you could never have engineered on your own. Trust is what unlocks the unseen. Trust is what invites Allah's help. Trust is what turns obstacles into openings and barriers into blessings. When you shift from "I don't see a way" to "Allah will make a way," you give yourself permission to witness miracles. And once Allah shows you what He can do, fear will never again convince you that you are trapped, because you will know deep in your heart that for every door that closes, Allah is already preparing one that is far better, far wiser, and far more beautiful than anything you could have planned. When you trust Allah more than your fear, your relationship with Him begins to deepen in a way that changes your entire existence. You no longer see Allah as distant or far away. You begin to feel His presence in the smallest details of your life. Your heart starts to understand that trust isn't just believing Allah can help you. It's believing that He is helping you, even when you can't see it. And this realization brings you closer to Him in a way nothing else can. Fear creates distance. It makes you focus on your problems instead of the one who can solve them. It fills your heart with doubt, heaviness, and confusion. Trust does the opposite. Trust turns every hardship into a conversation with Allah. It turns every setback into a dua. It turns every tear into a step closer to Him. Suddenly, the moments that used to break you become the moments that shape your connection with your Creator. There's something incredibly powerful about the way trust softens your heart. You begin to speak to Allah with a sincerity that comes only from pain mixed with faith. You open your hands in dua not just to ask for solutions, but because you crave His closeness. You start to realize that the true gift was never the blessing. It was the connection you built while waiting for the blessing. When you trust Allah, you begin to see His mercy in things you used to complain about. A delayed plan becomes a sign that He is protecting you. A closed door becomes a message that He is redirecting you. A painful experience becomes a reminder that He is refining you, cleansing you, elevating you. You start recognizing that Allah's wisdom is woven into everything, the people who left your life, the opportunities that slipped away, the moments that broke you, and the moments that healed you. Even your worship changes. Your prayers become deeper. Your sujood becomes longer. Your Quran brings comfort instead of feeling like a duty. You feel that each verse is speaking directly to you, reminding you that Allah has always been by your side. The more you trust Him, the more your heart starts craving Him, not just in hardship but also in ease. Trust makes your iman grow. It makes your heart softer. It makes you more grateful, more patient, more hopeful. You begin to see life through a spiritual lens. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start saying, "Allah, what are you teaching me through this?" You stop thinking everything is random and you start seeing the purpose behind every event. And the most beautiful part, once you trust Allah deeply, you no longer panic about the future. You know that whatever comes is written with love. You know that Allah's plans are always better than your fears. You walk through life with a quiet confidence, a calm heart, and a strong spirit, because you are anchored not to the world, but to the one who created it. This closeness becomes your greatest treasure. You realize that trusting Allah didn't just help you overcome your fear. It brought you closer to Him in a way that fear never could. And once your heart tastes that closeness, there is nothing in this world that can replace it. In the end, my brothers and sisters, trusting Allah more than your fear is not just a mindset. It is a transformation. It is the moment you stop living as a prisoner of your worries and start living as someone protected, guided, and strengthened by the one who loves you more than anyone ever could. When you trust Allah, you rise above the noise of the world. You stop letting fear control your steps. You stop allowing uncertainty to weaken your heart. Instead, you walk with a confidence that does not come from yourself, but from the assurance that Allah is with you in every moment, every breath, every difficulty, and every blessing. Life will always bring challenges. It will bring situations that shake you, delay you, confuse you, and test you in ways you didn't think you could endure. But every one of those moments carries a hidden gift, an opportunity to turn toward Allah, to strengthen your connection with Him, and to discover a level of faith, patience, and resilience you never knew existed inside you. Trusting Allah does not remove your fear, it outgrows it. It does not erase your struggles. It gives you the strength to face them. It does not guarantee that life will be easy, but it guarantees that you will never face life alone. And when your heart reaches that level of certainty, something beautiful happens. Your fear becomes smaller, your faith becomes stronger, and your life becomes filled with meaning, peace, and purpose. So hold on to that trust. protect it, nourish it. Remind yourself every day that Allah has never abandoned you before, and He will not abandon you now. Your path is written with wisdom. Your struggles are filled with purpose. Your future is in the hands of the most merciful. And whatever He chooses for you will always be better than whatever fear tries to convince you of. If this message touched your heart, if it brought you peace, if it reminded you of Allah's love and mercy, then please share it with others. You never know whose life you might uplift. And don't forget to subscribe for more reminders, more inspiration, and more messages that strengthen your faith and bring your heart closer to Allah. May Allah fill your life with courage, trust. Amen. Amen.